everyone, welcome to WagerTalk TV. My name is Minty, I'll be your host today, and joining me today is Brian Leonard at BLeonardSports on Twitter and Teddy Covers at Teddy_Covers. In this video we're going to talk about how to make a living sports betting. Teddy, help us out here. People think that it's so easy to just bet on sports and make a living, but I think that a lot of people that claim they bet on sports for a living actually do something on the side too. But anyway, how do you make a living?
I would say the vast majority of people that say that they make a living betting on sports have some other side hustle,
side
whatever,
business or
whatever it is.
Okay.
What I would start first with is the concept, this isn't how to win betting on sports, it's how to make a living betting on sports. So if you're talking about making a living in 2020, we're talking about what? You know, for a single guy, you got to make $5 grand a month. If you're a family man, you got to make 10 grand a month minimum. Yes, depending on your lifestyle, so we're not talking about, all right, I want to grind out a little profit from my hobby. You're like, I want to average making 10 grand a month over the course of the next year. So understand the bankroll that you're going to need to have in terms of putting that type of profit together. All right. What do you say? If you want to make 10 grand a month, Brian, a realistic amount to have as a bankroll is $250,000 at least? That's a realistic bankroll to try to achieve that level of growth. Yeah.
Yikes.
Well, it's just saying, be realistic. Have realistic expectations.
Yes.
You know,
you're hitting us with reality. Thank you.
No, this is making a living. This isn't making a profit. This is making a living. And if you're going to try to make a living at this, you better have a dose of reality, you know, right in your face, because you need to know how realistic it is.
It's a grind,
Yeah, and to touch, just before I get to my point, just to touch on that, is, you know, there's nothing wrong with having a side gig or whatever in order to, because when you're betting, you got up and down. It's like, we're both married. Our wives have jobs. They have normal jobs. It's nice to be able to have these paychecks come in every month to pay the bills. So when you're betting for a living, you're going to have your ups and you're going to have your downs, and that's the problem.
It's rough.
Anyway, my first point, it would be get as many outs as possible. Everybody I know who gambles for a living has as many opportunities to bet, because a half a point here, a full point here, it all matters. We talk about how tight the lines are anymore. So if you're in, you know, with gambling going across the country now, and you're seeing Pennsylvania with 8 different outlets, Jersey with, you know, maybe 10, it's a lot better than it is in another city or another state would only have 1 or 2. So the more outs you have, the better it is. So try to get as many outs as possible.
All right, cool. Teddy, number 2.
If you're going to make a living betting on sports, you have to be hitting virgin markets.
Okay.
By virgin markets, that means markets that have not been bet into yet. Okay, so that means you're at the Circa on Sunday when the college football lines come out. When the games of the year come out, you're making bets on those. You're betting openers. You're not trying to figure stuff out 5 minutes before kickoff or tip-off. Who am I going to bet? You're working into virgin markets, and that ensures that you'll be getting the best of the number on a pretty consistent basis.
What you're looking for when you're betting is get as many positive EV bets as possible, which is one of the reasons why I like people who specialize. There are certain guys, you know, I've bought their plays or I've traded their plays over the years that are really good at a certain sport, really good at maybe totals. Like I don't do a lot of totals in baseball, but there's guys out there that are really good in totals in baseball. So I'll either buy or trade with them and get more plays. So the more edges you have, you know, get your MMA guy, you get your hockey guy. You know, we've got some guys on the site that do soccer. I don't know a thing about soccer, but if somebody I trust is good at soccer and he gives me a play, I'm going to bet it.
Ooh, good tip. Teddy.
Well, so you and I, you're like running down my points here, because my number, the next, and you know, I mean, I had more outs, which, you know, I have more places to bet. But my last big point is specialize. You know, the guys who are, you know, you and I are both generalists. All right, we're working multiple sports at a time and multiple sports throughout the course of the year. You grind out a profit that way. If you're going to be like, this is what I'm doing, I'm going to make a living doing this, I would find one sport and I would own it. I would know every player on every team. I'd know what the coach is thinking. I'd know what the assistant coach ate for breakfast. I mean, you specialize, and that is, in my mind, the single best way at any given moment to be able to realistically make a living on sports. Now, as generalists like Brian and I, we're in action all year and we're grinders. When you're a specialist, you can get hot and make money and make a lot of money fast. When you know a market better than the market knows itself, you know, that in my mind is the single most important thing for someone that's going to be making a living at this, is be freaking good at something, really good at something.
All right, Brian, got anything else?
Yeah, the first thing I talked about was getting as many outs as possible. Now I'm going to talk about how to keep an out and not get kicked out, which is very hard to do here in Las Vegas now, because if you show any ability to win, they're going to make it as hard as possible for you to bet.
Right.
Stay under the radar. If you're going into a place, and you know, props aren't that big in Vegas, but it's getting to the point now that props are real popular. And if you kill the props, they're going to limit you. You're going to, you know, instead of being able to bet $200 a game, they may give you $20 a game. So you want to stay, you don't want them to know who you are.
Yeah.
Play parlays. Most of the time I say don't bet a parlay.
Yeah.
It's not a good bet. If you've got an advantage, throw some parlays in there once in a while.
Okay.
Bet something, bet the Monday Night Football game. Just do something. You might not have much of an edge at all, but if they go down your list and they see you're playing WNBA first halves and you're killing them, but if you're also playing NFL full game,
right.
College basketball sides, that kind of thing, it disguises your portfolio a little bit. So it's, a lot of people don't do it and they get kicked out. Well, it's so hard to get outs anymore.
Right.
Especially the way Vegas is now, where they're condensing. You know, they're going to have...
Same thing in Jersey.
Yeah,
you know?
They're condensing, and you're going to have 5 outs as opposed to 10, 15, you know, from a couple of years ago. So there's ways to get around it a little bit. Just play their game a little bit, and they're more willing to play with you.
Oh, I like it. Thank you, gentlemen. WagerTalk TV users get $25 in WagerBucks added to your account after your first purchase at wagertalk.com and sportsmemo.com.